I've always believed trust isn't something you just hand over. It's something that's earned and protected. When I proposed to Emily, I thought we had that trust. We'd been together for almost 3 years, built a rhythm, and made it through our share of rough patches. She said yes with tears in her eyes, and in that moment, I thought I'd found my person. But lately little cracks had started to show. Emily's phone, once left carelessly on the coffee table, now stayed glued to her side. Nights that used to be for us suddenly became girls' nights out. A phrase that rolled off her tongue too easily and too often. At first, I told myself I was overthinking. She'd been through a stressful quarter at work, and I wanted to give her space. Then came that Thursday. Emily told me she was going out with her friends from college. "It's just a few drinks and some catching up," she said, giving me a quick kiss before heading upstairs to change. I nodded, but something in the way she avoided my eyes stayed with me. That night, I had my own plans, or so she thought. I'd just wrapped up a long meeting downtown when my phone buzzed. It was my buddy Matt, who happened to be dating one of Emily's so-called girls' night friends. "Hey," he said, his tone hesitant. "Thought you should know the ladies aren't where they said they'd be. Just saw them heading toward the marina parking lot." My pulse picked up. I told myself it could be nothing, but deep down, I already knew I wasn't going to sleep without finding out. 15 minutes later, I was pulling into the marina's lot, scanning for her car. And then I saw it, my old truck. The same one I'd traded in 6 months ago to a used dealer across town. Only now, it was parked in the shadows at the far end of the lot. I frowned, stepping closer. The dealership must have sold it. But to who? The answer hit me before I even reached the driver's side. The passenger door opened, and Emily stepped out, adjusting her dress, hair slightly tousled. And then the driver's side opened. My stomach twisted when I saw him, Jason. My ex's name still felt like a bruise in my memory. He wasn't just my ex's old fling. He was the guy Emily had told me was nothing to worry about 2 years ago. For a moment, neither of them saw me. I stood there, lit by the dull glow of the street lamp, every ounce of warmth in me draining away. When Emily finally looked up, her smile faltered, eyes widening like a deer caught in headlights. Jason leaned against the truck, casual, like he'd done nothing wrong. I didn't yell. I didn't demand answers. I just stepped closer, my voice calm, almost too calm. "Nice car," I said. "Looks familiar." Emily's mouth opened like she wanted to say something, but no words came out. Her fingers clutched the strap of her purse, knuckles pale. Jason just smirked, shoving his hands into his pockets like he'd been waiting for me. "Ryan, this isn't what it looks like," Emily finally blurted, her voice shaky. I tilted my head. "Really? Because it looks like my fiancé is stepping out of my old truck with a man she swore she barely knew." She flinched. I can explain. Jason cut in, his voice dripping with mock innocence. "We were catching up. Old friends, you know." "Friends?" I repeated, my tone flat. "At 10:30 at night. In the back of a parked car at the marina." "Sure, Jason. I'm sure it's completely innocent." Emily shot him a glare, clearly annoyed he'd spoken. "Ryan, please, can we just talk somewhere else? This isn't the place." But I wasn't moving. Not yet. Because in that moment I realized something. This wasn't the first time. Her reaction wasn't one of shock or guilt from a first-time mistake. It was the panic of someone caught in a pattern. The nights out. The guarded phone. The sudden defensiveness when I'd ask simple questions. All the puzzle pieces were clicking into place, and the picture they formed was ugly. "I'm not going anywhere," I said. "If you've got an explanation, let's hear it right here." Jason leaned against the truck again, almost daring me to make a scene. "Man, don't take it so hard. Sometimes things just happen." I took a step toward him, not out of anger but to close the space between us. "Things don't just happen with someone's fiancé," I said, my voice low. "They happen because two people make them happen." Emily's eyes darted between us, her voice now cracking. "Ryan, please, I made a mistake. It's not what it looks like." "Stop saying that." I cut her off. "Because you and I both know it's exactly what it looks like." There was a heavy pause. Somewhere behind us, waves lapped softly against the dock, the sound almost mocking in its calmness. I could have yelled, I could have caused a scene, but I didn't. I simply turned my gaze back to Jason. You can keep the truck, I said. Looks like it suits you better anyway. Then I looked at Emily one last time. The ring? I'll take that back now. Her lips trembled, but she slid it off her finger and placed it in my hand. I didn't hold her gaze. I didn't need to. In that moment, I realized the woman I thought I knew had been gone for a while, replaced by someone who could lie to my face and smile while doing it. I walked away without looking back, each step heavier than the last, but lighter in a way too, because I knew I'd never be the fool again. The drive home felt like moving through static. Streetlights blurred past, my mind replaying every late-night excuse, every sudden change of plans, every time she'd brushed off my questions with a laugh. I wasn't angry anymore, not the kind of white-hot rage that burns and fades. This was colder, sharper. I didn't text her. I didn't call. By the time she showed up at my apartment the next morning, I'd already packed her belongings into boxes and left them by the door. She knocked once, twice, then started pounding. Ryan, please. I just need you to listen. I opened the door enough to meet her eyes. They were puffy, mascara smeared, but the moment I spoke, her expression shifted from desperation to disbelief. There's nothing to explain, I said. You lied. You cheated. And you did it with him of all people. It wasn't like that, she whispered, as if saying it softer would make it true. I stepped aside so she could see the boxes. You'll find everything in there. Clothes, makeup, the little framed pictures you insisted we keep on the fridge. Take them and go. Her jaw tightened, and I saw the flicker of anger. You're overreacting. It didn't mean anything. That's the problem, I said. It meant nothing to you. But it meant everything to me. She grabbed the boxes, muttering under her breath, and left without another word. The silence that followed wasn't peaceful. It was hollow. For a few weeks, I kept my head down. I poured my energy into work, into the gym, into anything that didn't have her name on it. But then one afternoon, a mutual friend texted me a link. It was a Facebook post. A picture of Emily and Jason at a bar, her arm draped over his shoulders, captioned, "Finally where I'm meant to be, Red Heart." I didn't comment. I didn't message her. Instead, I posted my own update. A picture of my new truck, the one I'd bought in cash after selling my old one and emptying the joint account she thought I'd forgotten about. The caption was simple. Upgrades all around. It wasn't petty revenge. It was a statement that I'd moved on, that she'd been replaced in every way that mattered. And here's the funny thing. 2 months later, Jason sold my old truck. Word was Emily had moved on again. I didn't care. Because by then, I was already on a new path. One where my worth wasn't measured by someone else's loyalty. If she ever wonders what happened to the man who would have done anything for her, the answer is simple. He's gone. And he's not coming back.